Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Peter Karp. I'm the chair of the Parkinson Support Group, and I have a few announcements prior to our getting started with our speaker today. The first is a reminder, more to me than to anybody else, of our mission and vision of who we are as a group, and I have a reason for doing that, which I'll get to. But our mission statement for the Parkinson Support Group is by using a compassionate approach to community building, we reduce the fear and isolation associated with Parkinson's disease. And our purpose is that we exist to ensure that no one faces a Parkinson's diagnosis alone. And our vision is to see a world in which all affected by Parkinson's have the hope, confidence, and support to live their best lives. So, thank you all for being here. It's wonderful to see so many familiar faces, and we're especially glad that you found us, and that's why we gather each month.
We're very fortunate to have with us Sarina Ferguson from OSVT, and she's going to talk to us about the program that's up here, LVST BIG, and it's a program specifically for people with Parkinson's. My wife did that program many years ago, and it's been tremendously helpful. Sarina earned her bachelor's and master's in physical therapy from Sacramento State, her doctorate from A.T. Still University. She combines manual therapy, Pilates, balance training, and individualized rehabilitation strategies to help each patient move better and live well. She's a former NCAA Division I gymnast from Sacramento State, and she volunteers as an injury prevention consultant, easy for me to say, for a pre-college gymnastics club in Santa Rosa. Did I say pre-college? I think I meant to. Outside of work, she enjoys traveling, gardening, cooking, and hiking with her family. Sarina, welcome, and thank you for being here.
Hello. Oh, good. Okay, so I am loud enough. So, yes, I'm Sarina. I am going to talk to you today about LSVT. A show of hands, has anybody heard of LSVT? I'm going to say I see a few former patients, so this is good. Okay. So, by a show of hands, how many of you have actually done LSVT? Fewer hands. Okay. So hopefully after today you'll get a little idea of what it is and also how well it can help you. It's definitely something that I've enjoyed using with my patients for the last 12 years. I had my husband's late grandfather was diagnosed with Parkinsonism years ago, and so it kind of led me towards this. So it's just nice to have as another tool. And the research is showing that it's also helpful for other things aside from Parkinson's. I also got to use it with my father after he had a stroke. So there's lots of neurological disorders that we're using it for now, and we'll touch on that a little bit in the end, but it was originally designed about 30 years ago for Parkinson's and Parkinson's alone. So I get to skip the first slide because he already read it for me. There's me. I own 2 offices. We have one on Farmers Lane and one at Oakmont. They both have the LSVT available at our offices. Rob would have been here today, but he's on a plane to Barcelona. He's one of the other physical therapists that does this. And in about a month, we're going to have Heather, also will be certified to do this. Anna at our Farmers Lane office is on maternity leave, and she won't be back till October, so it's just me right now. But between the 2 offices, we have about 4 providers that can provide this service, which is great because there's not a lot of physical therapists in our area that actually do this and get certified in it. So little disclosures, I am not getting paid by LSVT. I actually had to pay to get certified. I don't make any money off of doing this presentation. And all the research is supported by NIHI and the Fox Foundation and everything. So that is my little disclosure. Okay, so today, hopefully what we're going to learn is some of the key features about the LSVT. There is a loud component, which is not my specialty. So the loud component is when you have a person that can't talk very loud, and you need to start to learn to project your voice again. And so a speech therapist will take you through a separate set of exercises called the LSVT LOUD. I'm provider for the BIG. I'm the movement specialist. I'm a physical therapist, and only physical therapists and occupational therapists are actually allowed to be certified in this. So you're going to be with somebody who has a doctorate level degree, which is great, that knows about not only your issue that's going on, but maybe if you have a sore shoulder or a sore back or a bum hip as well, so we can accommodate your exercises accordingly. So we're going to talk about how these programs specifically address Parkinsonism, what a session looks like. So I'm going to actually show you what the exercises look like. I've gotten to do them many, many times over the last 12 years because I actually get to do them with you every single time you come in. So, and then just a little bit about the research, and then continuing on, what do you do after LSVT and how to get started. So, just a little history. About 8 million people in the worldwide are living with Parkinsonism. They're expecting it to double by 2040, which is kind of scary, because we're going to need a lot more health care. It is actually the second most largest common neurodegenerative disorder. So it is big. The only thing that tops it is Alzheimer's right now. So that's a pretty big diagnosis group. And so hopefully we can continue to do research and get even better things going forward. But until then, we can move and exercise. So LSVT started about 30 years ago, and its mission was, again, to kind of help people to move, communicate, and be independent as long as possible. And so they came up with LSVT LOUD for the speech, and then that morphed into LSVT BIG for the movement. And there, it was Lee Silverman, her family started the research 30 years ago. So it's backed by 30 years of research, which is really kind of cool. So, speech therapy, like I mentioned, it's going to be delivered by a certified speech language pathologist, and the BIG will be delivered by either a physical therapist or an occupational therapist, as I mentioned. All of them have advanced degrees. You get your bachelor's in something, usually kinesiology or biology, and then you go on to a specified school to become either a PT or an OT or a speech language pathologist. Sit for a really big, gnarly national board exam, and then, if you want, you can go back to school for a few weekends and get certified. And then you get recertified every 2 years. So all of your providers, if you find them through the LSVT website, every 2 years we get reminded what we're supposed to be doing. So it's good, because it's always making sure that, one, I'm up on the most current literature, and two, I'm providing you with top-level care. Okay, so the components of LSVT, the big components, and you'll hear me say big a lot because it's actually like the biggest cue we use, all puns intended today. We are going to target that bigness or loudness, so it's all about amplitude. So you've probably noticed with yourself or your spouse or your loved one who has Parkinsonism that they've started to get smaller, whether it's their handwriting or their talking or their steps are getting smaller. Just all over daily movements and talking are getting smaller. And so we are targeting that smallness to make it bigger, that amplitude, because it's a mismatch in the brain that we have to try and help override. the only way to kind of break a bad habit of being small and become better is to have intense high effort. So the intensity that we are going to do with exercise is going to be probably more tiring than what you normally do around the house. And that's because we want to make a physical change. So if we kept doing the same thing over and over and over again, our bodies are going to stay that way or decline, right? Because there's no extra need to go beyond. So these exercise through that mode of that high intense effort, they are actually asking your muscles, your joints, your neurons to do more so that there is a physical change in movement, which is really kind of cool. And then throughout the exercises, we'll also talk about calibration. So calibration is getting to realize that when I'm reaching for something or when I'm trying to put my hand into its jacket, I know it feels really big, but it's not, it's just normal. So that recalibrating that mismatch of that small movement with more normal movements. And we see that a lot in the walking, when we do the walking components of BIG. So getting you to feel like you're walking wearing, I like to use the term scuba flippers, or marching in a parade. That's how it feels for a Parkinson's person, but from the outside looking in, it starts to look like a normal walk pattern again, which is really kind of cool. And to getting that to calibrate and know that, okay, I can do this. It might feel a little weird, and it does have more effort to have to do this, but I can walk all the way down the block a lot better and safer. Okay, so talked about that amplitude, getting things from small voice to loud voice, small movement to big movements. There are some commonalities in Parkinsonism with the movement component, because that's my specialty. So we probably have all seen this start to happen. This is the typical Parkinsonism, and then there's not much with the walk either. The walk gets pretty small and sometimes even smaller. So over the course of the years that they made these exercises and they studied them and researched them, they realized that we need to calibrate things to be in the opposite. So all of the exercises are designed to basically take you from this to this again, and then bigger movement steps. And since I'm only doing the big, I'm not really sure what they do with the loud. I've only heard a little bit of it, but I believe it's a lot of projecting and using the vocal cords differently. And I'm sure that there's a bunch of good studies on that. It's just not my specialty, sorry. So, it's intense. This is a big program. You basically dedicate a month to being exercised and just doing a ton of exercises with your therapist and then at home. So, this is usually where people go, I don't know if I want to do this. And I get it. I totally do. It is 4 days a week. And it's for an hour long for 4 weeks. And you're not supposed to have a break or a gap in care. And then when you go home, I'm really mean. I'm that mean teacher that will give you homework to do every single day, all 30 days. So, it's a lot. But it can be really fun and really rewarding. And I've had some patients that have done amazing transformations with this program because that high intensity and having that coaching one-on-one, it really helps you to know how to move again. And you need that. And the studies have shown that if we do 3 days or 2 days or 1 day, it usually doesn't pan out the same way. So, that is the bad part about the program, unless you like exercise like me. Okay, so we touched a little bit on how much you're going to have to do 4 times by 4 times. We're going to be looking at intensity when you're doing exercises with us, driving the amplitude and the repetitions. And all of this helps to improve your accuracy and your movement. And that's going to make a little more sense in a moment when I do the exercises, and I'll show you. The complexity also has to be something that we want, because that actually drives change. Our brains have neuroplasticity, so there is potential to actually get the neurons to fire better and cross-bridge. And so by being in a physical therapy setting and being one-on-one, we can increase that complexity to kind of drive that matter, to make you be a little bit, to move better, essentially. And then I'm sure you guys have always heard that practice makes perfect, repetition, repetition, repetition. So the exercises, when we do that 4x4, so 4 times a week for 4 weeks, we're building in that repetition so that this new habit becomes better and you basically start to move better without me having to cue you, which is really kind of fun for me to see. About week 3, when you're in hanging out with me, is when we start to see that change. And I love it because patients start going, but you're not cueing me. I'm like, I don't have to. You're starting to do it on your own. This is great. And that's the best part about my job, is getting to watch people do bigger movements and walk better. I think that's also when the spouses start to notice that they're moving better too. So with the exercises, we also think about, like, what is your main goal? So as a physical therapist, we want to think about, like, what would make this exercise regimen meaningful to you, to make it to where you can do something better. So that salience. So I've had patients that they want to get back on the river and kayak for the first time. I've had patients that want to be able to walk to a granddaughter's graduation on grass. And so those type of skills we also build into the program, because those are sometimes more meaningful than anything else. I want to be able to do this one thing again, or I want to be able to do this easier. And so that's where it becomes rewarding as a patient as well. And we work on that as part of the program. And then specificity. So there's the other aspect of just like, I can't do this task and I need to train this task to get out of a chair. It's not super meaningful for me. It's just something I have to do. So we would practice those functional tasks together as well. So those are the 5 kind of components of what we are doing each session for those 4x4 weeks. And again, like I mentioned, that whole goal is to calibrate, to get that mismatch of the small movements, that small posture I showed you, that hunched forward with the little tiny footsteps, into actually moving bigger and making it feel normal, so that you don't have that quote down there saying, people are going to think I'm crazy, because you actually don't look crazy when you're doing it. You actually look normal, which is a hard thing to sometimes grasp. Sometimes I'll bring out the phone and I will videotape my patient with their permission and say, would you like to see what you look like? And sometimes I'll have their spouse do it so they can see, oh, I don't look like I'm marching in a parade with clown shoes on. I look actually normal. This is kind of cool. And it's beautiful that we have phone devices to be able to do that. When I started PT, we did not have that. I've been doing this almost 20 years this December, and it's been a wild change of technology. So it's kind of cool. Okay, so people ask, why can't I just find these exercises on the internet, YouTube, and do a little TikTok thing and just do them at home on my own? Well, you kind of need some feedback. That feedback from a skilled provider that's been trained in this is going to actually make your movements better, because I'm going to be forcing you to do the effort that's necessary to do the exercises that are going to make a change. And it's kind of cool that we have the internet and technology now, that you can look at all the exercises. You can find all sorts of things on the internet. And there's also a lot of bad stuff too. But that person, it's a recording. It's not going to be the same as a physical therapist saying, it's your arm that's not moving big enough here. It's your leg that needs to move bigger there. And that is what makes it also important for calibration, which is why it's only going to be a physical therapist or an OT that does this program with you. And I guess because I'm not into loud, but I'm guessing they use numbers for the amplitude of the voice in loud based on that little quote down there, making a 9 effort on your voice. We just use big and big all the time. So big is the big cue for everything. I don't use numbers like number 9 effort, but I think the voice component does. They use it like a scale of 0 to 10. Okay, so in a treatment session, we get to do a bunch of exercises together. I will actually do them with you. Your provider, whoever you get who's LSVT certified, will be sitting in front of you and doing all the exercises with you as they cue you for the entirety of the LSVT exercise session. So there's a floor to ceiling, there's a side to side, there's a forward step, a side step, a back step, a rock and reach, and then a side rock and reach. We get up and down, we do a bunch of transfers, and make you walk really big for a while, and then we remind you that you're gonna do your homework for those 30 days, every single day. So, I usually start patients out with about 5 reps, and I'm gonna do them in just a moment. You'll get to see them all. And we work up to 10 as I start to see that you're getting it. It is tiring. I get tired with it as well because I'm putting in just as much effort as you are. So I get winded, we take a water break, it's all good, and we start back up on the next exercise. And you'll see that in a moment. Are the 7 basic exercises that everybody gets to do every session they come in. So, you get to sit in a chair with me, nice and big. And sometimes it takes a few moments just to get in this big. You can do them with me, kid. All right, so the first thing we do, and feel free if you want to follow along, I do not mind. So the first thing we do is we sit big because we want to get our big postures up and our big wide feet. Then we go forward big with our arms. We go down to the ground big, up to the sky as big as you can, and then we're going to come out and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and finish big. And we're going to go forward big again. Down big, up to the sky big, out big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and finish big. And forward big, down big, up big, out big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and finish big. So that's the first exercise. We'll do that 5 to 10 times. I'm going to be watching my patient while we're doing it to see, can we do 5? Can we do 7 today? I will slowly, because I'm mean and I'm always going to ask for more, I'm going to slowly bring you up to 10 one way or another by the end of our 4 weeks. And usually people start to catch on to that second week, that wait a second, we're doing more now. I'm like, yep, we started at 5 and we're already up to 8. And so that's kind of fun to see too. So our second exercise, we're still sitting in our big posture, and we would bring our arm out to the side big, and then we're going to reach over big and get that leg behind us as big as I can, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we're going to finish big again. So it goes out and over big, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and finish big, and out and over big, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So while we're doing this, I get to look at my patient because I have some pretty good peripheral vision, and I get to tell you, oh, the leg needs to get bigger. Oh, we need to hold that hand up bigger like you're holding a tray of cookies or a pizza platter. It is Pi Day, by the way. So, holding that up, you know, all of those fun little cues, which is why it's done in person and it's done one-on-one. Because somebody might have a harder time getting their hand up, and another person might have a harder time getting their foot back. Or somebody else might have a harder time just getting that butt cheek to kind of turn. And so the physical therapist, we are the movement specialist, we basically kind of focus on your deficits. And then we try and help you find ways to make them bigger so they're not. And then I find another problem and I work on that until they're perfect at the end of 4 weeks. So after we do one side, we always do the other. So we go out to the side, we do the other side, reach over, hold that big platter up big, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then finish big. and over big, and over big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and finish big. And we'll do one more, out big, and over big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and finish big. One of the other components we work on that gets really hard with people, for people with Parkinsonism, is getting up out of a chair. A lot of people feel like they get stuck. So one of the exercises is actually just getting up out of a chair. And if you didn't notice, which a lot of people don't, that first exercise we did where I have you leaning forward, that gets you primed to know that I can lean my chest forward so I can stand up big, and then I can sit back down. So we stand up big, and we sit back down. And we stand up big, and we sit back down. And so we practice this big up and a controlled down so that you get more comfortable and you don't get stuck in the couch, because that's no fun. Or you don't always have to get the chair that has armrest. So that's something we work on as well. So after we do the seated exercises, we go into the standing exercises. So the standing exercises, there's no holding with this, but this gets our big stepping going. So we would be standing one in front of the other. I would be your mirror image. We would step forward big with our arms big, and then we're going to step back big. And we'd go forward big and back big. And forward big and back big. And one more, forward big and back big. Now, people will ask, I can't stand up and do that without my hands. That's okay. I'll put chairs next to you if it needs chairs, tables next to you. We'll teach you to do it with a counter if it's safer. So that's where your physical therapist is going to decide what is better. There's also a version, and I have had to do this a couple times, for a person that is not standing. They are wheelchair bound, but they can still move their legs. There is a seated version, believe it or not, that we go over. And again, it is patient specific for your deficits. So if we do the other side, we're going to go forward big and then back big. And it's like we're stepping over a log, big and together big. And forward big and together big. After the forward ones, we go sideways. So this one kind of looks like fencing. So our hands, we got our palms up like we're holding 2 trays of pizza, and then back big. And over big and back big. And over big and back big. And then we switch to the other side because we've got to even. Over big and back big. Over big and back big. And we'll do one more. Over big and back big. The other one is backwards. So we would step backwards big, take a bow, and then forward big. And step back big and forward big. And back big and forward big. And then we'd switch legs. Back big and forward big. Back big and forward big. And one more. Back big and forward big. Good. The other one is rotation. So one of the deficits that happens with Parkinsonism is we lose a lot of trunk rotation. We get kind of locked in. Also correlates with a higher prevalence of back pain. So this exercise increases a little bit of your trunk rotation because that's its focus. So we have a nice wide stance. We start with our hands on our thighs. We actually turn backwards and then finish big. And we turn and finish big. And then we turn, holding 2 trays of pizza again, and finish big. And then we go the other direction. So we turn, hold those palms up big, and finish big. And big turn, and finish. And we'll try one more big turn, and finish. So as you can see, I still have a pretty good amount of twist in my back left over from gymnastics. So I can really show how much you can try and aim for, and then try and get about halfway there is great. Our last one of the movements is going to be what we call rocking. So I find to break the rocking up a little easier, we put one foot in front of the other and start with just rocking back and forth and getting that weight shift. After you get a little rhythm, then we swing an arm up as you go forward and then switch. And big swing and big swing. and big swing, and big swing. And you're trying to reach those fingertips all the way up to the ceiling. Big reach. It should feel kind of good to get that stretch. And then we would switch and do the same thing on the other side. So we go forward big and back big. Get the rock going. Get your rhythm going. And then as you go forward, reach up. And then swing. And reach up. And big swing. And reach up. And big swing. So, kind of looks a little bit like a big walk, doesn't it? We've got that arm swing going, which is the last exercise, that big walk, where I have you pretend like you are walking with scuba flippers on, and your arms are swinging like you're the drum major in a parade. So it looks like this when I do it, but it looks like this when my patient's doing it. And that's where over the course of a month, your calibration gets better, so that your movement gets better and your spouse starts to see you're walking down the hallway of the house better and you're not catching your toes on things and you're not hitting those thresholds. So that is LSVT in a nutshell. And it's tiring. I have had to do that with There was one time in my schedule, I had 3 LSVTers at one time on my schedule, and it was a little tiring. I recommend only 2, not 3, because we only did 3 reps of everything. And we would normally start with 5 and work up to 10. So, but the effort is what makes the change, it what drives the change, and I'm doing it with you. And I know how tiring it is because I feel it too. So, the amplitude and growth movement is basically what we're trying to do. We'll work on direction changes when we're doing our exercises. It naturally builds some endurance because, like I mentioned, we start with 5 and then I slowly sneak in a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It works on your balance. So all of those stepping strategies that I had you do, that forward big and the backward big and the sideways big and the backwards big, those are all strategies so you don't fall. They're stepping strategies that we teach patients in PT so that when something goes awry, you can catch yourself, which is really kind of cool. So we're calibrating your brain to know how to adjust your center of gravity, within your base of support, or if it's out. It naturally works on strength because you're putting in that effort. This is beyond your normal day-to-day movement, so your muscles will get stronger as well, which is cool. And then it works on your posture because everything was specifically designed with Parkinson's in mind to work on your posture so that we don't get into our laziness. That's so much easier to do. So when we do these exercises, we're working on a whole bunch of activities together simultaneously, which is really kind of cool that they were able to come up with so many benefits to this one program. So just to again bring back, which I mentioned while I was doing my big walking, she's doing that rocking position right there. And it directly is translating into that bigger arm swing when somebody's walking their dog or walking to the grocery store or just walking down the hall of their house. And so that's our goal, is to make you more independent and being able to move in the way that you want to, whether it is walking the dog or walking, around Spring Lake, because we have so many wonderful regional parks. Okay. So yes, and I mentioned earlier, I touched on after we go through all of those exercises that we just did, and thank you for people who wanted to participate, that was awesome. Then if there's something specific in nature, we always take that into account too. So if I have a patient that says, I really want to be able to still play pickleball. Well, heck, let's work on things for pickleball. We got to work on the movements, we got to work on the reaching. Or some people, it's something as silly as like, I just want to be able to reach up and put my bowl of soup in the microwave. But everybody's goal is important to them, and so we'll take those little individual ones and then bring it into actually being, break down the component and then bring it back. So medicine is one of the things that a lot of you guys get to take, which is great. I don't really get to do anything with that, but exercise paired with medicine is the golden ticket these days. And that's what the studies keep showing, is that taking your regular medication and doing these exercises together are going to be the success to keep moving longer and being more independent longer as well. So your neurologist usually kind of does all the medicine stuff. I just do all the fun movement stuff, which is, I think, fun. Okay, so after you do the program, people usually ask, what do I do now? So there's always the homework, these exercises. The reason why I liked it and wanted to become certified is that you can take these exercises anywhere. All you need is a folding chair. So you can be at home, you don't have to join a gym, you don't have to go to a group. So if you're not able to get out as easily because you need a driver, you can do them at home. They also have, LSVT realized that they needed to have some visuals because sometimes the pictures are just kind of so-so, and having the actual movement, so they designed videos of the homework helper. And then now that nobody has DVDs or Blu-rays anymore, they realized they had to start streaming it as well. So they partnered with Amazon because everybody does. And they have those as an option. I have the DVD and I have not been able to let anybody borrow it for like the last 2 years because nobody has a DVD player anymore. But what I usually do after our first week of hanging out is I offer you the video for the 2 days that you're not going to see me so that you have at least some cue. But nobody has a DVD player anymore. So, and then because this is a degenerative disorder and we're trying to keep it from getting worse, usually you're going to have a little tune-up here and there. So most of you guys are checking with your neurologist probably 6 months or a year. That's when you can mention to them, oh, my movements are getting smaller and maybe I should go back for a couple visits. Maybe not a full 4x4, nightmare of seeing me tell you big for 4 days in a row, but a little tune-up for a couple times a week. Or because one of your skills, like I'm noticing it's hard for me to get out of a chair again, then we'll work on those and bring in those big principles again. The other thing I really encourage my patients to do after they're done with LSVT is to look into, there's 2 other great things. There's rock steady boxing, and then there's the PD Connect. So taking all of your big movements that I really try to encourage on our individualized things, these incorporate a group atmosphere, which is sometimes really, really great just to know that you're not alone. So, you guys are all here for a support group, and so you can see the benefit of that. But the PD Connect meets on Tuesdays over at the Finley Center, and then Rock Steady Boxing, there's one in Santa Rosa and one in Petaluma. I encourage all my patients to try both, see what's comfortable. Studies show that if you like your environment and you like your exercise mode, you're more likely to do it. So why not start with something you might like? And you may find that you like boxing and you never knew that you did if you didn't try it. So it's harmless to give it a try, and you might find something you really, really like. But using the principles that we went over in all of the LSVT are just going to make that group setup, that group exercise more enjoyable. And you have a coach still. It's not as much one-on-one, but you have somebody encouraging you to keep that amplitude big, which is the focus of trying to keep your movements to be independent as long as possible. It's easier to just go through the motions by yourself when no one's watching in your living room than when you have somebody up here with all the energy encouraging you to go bigger. And so that's why those group meetings, even if you only were to go, twice a month, just to get a little pizzazz in there, wouldn't be bad. And so that's why I also encourage it. Okay, so evidence, like I mentioned over the course of this, you really want to make sure that if you're going to go down and put effort and energy into something, make sure that it's evidence-based, like LSVT. It's kind of scary out there. We have so many influencers on TikTok and everything else, and Facebook and all that stuff that I barely know about. But you want to make sure that there's something behind it that has some evidence, a clinical trial with a good sample size. So things like Rock Steady Boxing, things like Tai Chi, things like LSVT, PD Connect, they have the evidence base behind it, which is wonderful. And these are some more exercises as well. So that research, they got the boxing, we have the Tai Chi, there's some stuff with Nordic walking. We're not quite in the right environment for Nordic walking, but watching the Olympics was pretty inspiring. Cycling, treadmill training. There used to be a dancing for Parkinson's, I just haven't seen it too much. Pandemic kind of wrecked a lot of stuff. But these are some other options to incorporate with the LSVT. So people will do the LSVT exercises at home, and then maybe once a week they meet up with the Tai Chi. But there's evidence that supports that these are all also really good for movement, good for Parkinsonism, good for balance. Nobody wants to fall. Regular, just moving around the house, it's not been doing enough. If you hadn't noticed, it's just keeping you where you're at. Exercise, just being active isn't going to replace your physical therapy or your LSVT exercises, because it's what your body does just to get down the hall to go to the bathroom. If you want to get stronger, faster, bigger, you're going to have to actually exercise, which is a hard thing to sometimes match. And that's why when you do your sessions with us, we kind of get you to see, oh, this is what it is to exercise. And it's different than just having an active lifestyle. Please stay active though. So the exercises, like I mentioned, in LSVT, it's really catered to the amplitude. And when you're just going to the gym and pushing, the bench press or the leg press or the hamstring curl, you can just go along the track and you don't actually have to try hard. I mean, you can, but it doesn't have to be full effort. Whereas these exercises that were listed before, in addition to the LSVT, they're really pushing that amplitude, and that's the super goal. And also bringing in that sensory awareness so that I'm coaching you and telling you the entire time if you're not moving big enough, but I'm also complimenting you when I start to see that you did move your hand bigger or you got your leg back bigger this week, so that you can start to calibrate that too, which doesn't happen when you're just going to the gym and you're just pushing the weight press machine. So that's why it's a little different to have it more physical therapy based versus just going to the gym and just trying to stay fit. And then again, we're going to personalize your tasks. So I'm coming back to that bench press again. It's a great exercise, but is it going to help me with what outside of the house? I mean, I don't know. I think for me, when I had my kid when he was younger, I'd probably be better with bicep curl because you're lifting the kid when they're young. So again, trying to find exercises that are going to help you to know what's going to be good for a task that might be a challenge versus just trying to be globally strong. And that's a big difference between going and being fit at a gym and actually doing more skilled care. All right, so making a plan. Pretty much, if you hadn't figured it out, Parkinson's is kind of complex. There's a whole lot of components to it. There's the movement, there's a medication component, there's a support aspect. And so making a plan to keep moving and getting exercise started is huge. And then talking to your providers about how you want to go about the next steps. So to come in for physical therapy in California, we have direct access, which is great, but doesn't mean that the insurance company has to pay for it. So what really is required is a doctor's prescription that says that you have Parkinson's and you just need treatment. And from there, we can be fine. And it doesn't have to be much more than that, or even just that you're having difficulty walking. Because your insurance company is going to want to be able to see that we have contact with the physician. So that's something, again, when you have your next visit, you can chat with a physician as to what to do. You want to find, and why did they go to, oh, there it is, okay. So when you're looking for one of our providers, LSVT has a lot of great resources. They have a find a clinician button, and you type in your zip code and you say how far you feel like going, and they'll let you know who's actually certified. So if you are seeing somebody who says they're certified and you're not certain, you can look them up. Every 2 years, we have to recertify ourselves to make sure that we can stay on the list so that you guys are being provided with the care that's appropriate. This LSVT website, they have clips and videos and resources for you as well, which is great. And again, another place for them to do the homework helper. So yeah, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I'm going to go skip to the summary. So basically, we're going to be, like I said, the LSVT is designed to address all the symptoms that are associated with the movement patterns. Yeah. And then basically the intense training that I got to show you a little snippet of. And it is a standardized protocol with lots of research behind it. And then again, there's some more information if you guys want to look at LSVT Global on the website tonight or this weekend, just for PD and other conditions. Like I said, they started opening it up to say, hey, this does help a little bit with MS and stroke and some of the muscular dystrophies, which is kind of cool. And questions? Anybody? So if you have Kaiser, is it covered? Should be. I don't know. So that's a great question. Kaiser has their own model. I love Kaiser. My husband works for them. But I don't know if they have a provider, honestly. The Kaiser model here likes to do more group sessions. So their model probably wouldn't want to do a one-on-one when they could have 4 or 5 people, which is not the design of this. That's good for when you're done with LSVT to do the group setting, but not an initial round through. The only way it will change, though, is if you're a Kaiser member and you keep asking and demanding for it to be provided. It's the only way, unfortunately.
So basically that we need to pay on our own.
Yes, you can always do self-pay at pretty much any facility. It usually has a self-rate. But I strongly encourage people to whine and complain about them not having an LSVT provider, because they really should, in my opinion. And like I said, Kaiser can be good, it can be bad. My husband works for them. Their rehab model could be better.
So if Kaiser does not pay, what's the cost for the 4 weeks?
So it depends. Each clinic has their own. I only can speak for my own, where the eval is, I believe it's $175, and every single follow-up is $150. So it is unfortunately not cheap. Yep. That's why you need to complain to Kaiser. And honestly, they would only change their model if you guys actually do put in a grievance or vocally, because otherwise they're gonna just stick it, no news is fine, right? So they do like to listen to the squeaky wheels.
Do you have any experience with the VA, and will they pay for that?
So yeah, VA benefits usually through TRICARE and whatnot, yeah. So, and half the time you're attached to Medicare already, so it's completely covered usually, yeah. I'm not sure if the actual VA clinic over off of, I think it's Apollo or Centurion, one of those over there by Mercury Way. I don't know if they have a provider over there or not, because they have that clinic with physical therapy. But I've had patients that have TRICARE and Medicare usually. This is fully covered by Medicare, which, if you guys were curious, that's most people are wondering, is it covered by Medicare? Yes, it is.
I have time for one or two.
We were just wondering what LSBT stands for.
Lee Silva voice training. Lee Silverman voice training, sorry. It was for her that they found the whole organization for. Yeah, so it was named after her.
So,
Go ahead.
you have a local office building.
We have two, yes.
And is this a situation where you make an appointment with an individual and it's based on your availability and the client's?
Yeah. Yeah, so in case you guys weren't aware, healthcare is a little rough to get into these days, especially with a specialist, right? So first, getting in to see a neurologist or your primary care to get to see the physical therapist. Sometimes there's a month to get into the doctor, and then there's about a 2-month wait to get in to see a physical therapist. Because there's just more patients than our providers, unfortunately. So sometimes, yes, there's going to be a wait. The nice thing is that generally you can hold out for a month or two, and then we set up all of your appointments and they're all set for the month.
And they're not necessarily at the same time every day?
No, because my schedule changes every single day. I mean, I'm there from 8:15 until 5, but I see anywhere between 9 and 13 patients a day, and it just kind of depends. One day I might see 3 shoulders and a hip and an LSVT, and the next day I'm seeing a bunch of balance patients. I don't know what my schedule is until the morning even. So, but you would have your schedule set up for a month. But they won't always be at the same time. If you wanted them all at the same time, you may wait a little longer to get in. That's the tricky part. Just like with any doctor's office. I mean, I'm only off Friday afternoons, so anytime I get a doctor's visit, it's a Friday afternoon. I just tell them, I know we're looking about 8 weeks out, it's fine, but I need a Friday afternoon. And it's just, I know I'm that difficult person to schedule. I lead with it. So it can be accommodated. It's just, you may wait an extra couple weeks to get set.
Thank you.
Sarina, thank you so much. And because this is all about movement, let's do so. So Scott, come on up here and lead us through several minutes worth of movement.
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 Encouraged throughout. Movement is encouraged, obviously, throughout every day. All right, here's what we're gonna do, guys. By the way, I'm Scott Sinan. I own Martial Arts USA, also Rock Steady Boxing Petaluma, kickboxing. Been doing 30 martial arts for about 37 years, and then 22 years now I've owned it, and then 10 years or so we've been doing Rock Steady Boxing. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna just get you guys moving your joints. By the way, I'm encouraged by the community that's continuing to develop, and that was fantastic, Sarina. Thank you. All right, so let's get moving, guys. From here, I want you just to start off pretty simple. Just get your head going up and down, nice and easy. You don't need to move fast, by the way. Super slow, nice and easy. Nice and easy. When we warm up and we do mobile work, I like to ask simple questions just to get to know you. But I want you to start going side to side before I get to those questions. Try to touch your ear to your shoulder. It's good to play around and see how your movement is through your head, through your body. We're gonna start with our neck here, right? And then just go circles. Be careful if you're feeling dizzy, just go ahead and stop. There's no reason for you to keep going. Just can, again, see what kind of range of motion you have. This is just about paying attention to your body and seeing where it's at. Some days you have more mobility, other days you don't, but it's an exploration and a practice, just like in our sports. And go ahead and stop in there, nice and easy. Just take a deep breath for me. Good, and now I want you to do shoulders. By the way, you can do this stuff standing up too if you want. Sitting down, it's up to you. Shoulders back. If you take trips in planes, those of you guys that just sit there in the plane and watch your movie, this is your chance to move, right? Get those shoulders going and get them going forward. We're gonna get them going in a different direction. Now your arms as well. What I want you to do is go ahead and get your arms up and down. We've already kind of done that a little bit. Just kind of get those arms going. Up and down, up and down. If you were standing up, you would probably try to do big circles with your arms, getting them and going in different motions. And then get them going forward, arms forward. Actually, you're already kind of going forward and back, most of you guys there. I would encourage, again, getting the brain to work. So we would go one arm forward, and I can't do it without the other arm, but one arm backward. So you gotta get the body moving in different directions. It's the tapping the head and the stomach, rubbing the stomach thing. All right, good. And right there. Now, you can do this sitting down, but we're going hip rotations, big circles with the hips. If you're sitting down, just kind of get your knee going around like this. One knee to start. You can go the other way as well to get those hips going and the movement. Okay, mobility. And like I said, we like to have fun in our classes, and I like to get to know people as we're in our classes. Favorite go-to drink in the morning? Generally, most people have two things. I'm going to go ahead and say it, coffee and tea. But just go ahead and say it. Favorite one, go. Water. I got water. Most coffee. Who's tea? Tea. Tea. If I was in England, it'd be a whole different answer. Gotcha. What's that?
They do coffee too.
They do. Go knees down. Now, if you're sitting down, all I want you to do is extensions with your legs like this. But if you're standing up, get them going forward. You know, a lot of times we're stepping and we're moving forward, and that knee's going over the toes. Let your knee slightly go over the toes. Don't put a lot of weight on it. Think about your posture as well. Make sure you're not leaning too far forward. Okay, and then I want you to, from there, let's just go in circles. Now, if you're sitting down, obviously the circle part, just start with your ankles and go that way. But knees going around in circles like this. Good, joint mobility. All right. Here we go. If you're going to travel, just go ahead and say it. If you're mountains or beach? Beach. A couple of mountains. Hawaii. It's Hawaii. Destinations. Where are you going to go?
Italy. Spain. Copperopolis.
Copperopolis. Is that Greece?
No.
Is that in Greece? No.
Calaveras County.
Oh, Calaveras.
Foothills.
Where's that? Is that like California?
Way south.
Okay. Ankles, guys. If you're sitting there, ankles. Again, encourage you. You're on a plane. You're sitting down a lot. Get your ankles going. Get your feet moving up and down. Big circles. So we're starting from the head all the way down to the toes. Mobility. That's how you want to start movement in obviously any type of exercise. It's nice to do. All right, just to get the heart rate going. Here's what I want you to do. Take a deep breath in, and breathe out. And again, we can induce different types of mimicking of exercising through breathing. Right now, we're just trying to slow the heart rate down, go faster. How does that make you feel? Breathe in, a little lightheaded maybe. Good. Take a deep breath. Now one more time, but this time I want you to breathe in and hold. And then release it. Now what I want you to do from here. I know I do a lot of boxing, and if you've never done any boxing, guys, I want you to start now. Here we go. Ready? Put your hands up. Okay, even if you're not in a traditional boxer stance, if you are standing there, get a good base going. Now, how does that make you feel? Does it make you want to fight me? No? You're too nice. Your hands are up. It does. There's a little empowerment, right? You're always told when you're a kid, don't fight, don't punch, don't hit something. We encourage it. We don't encourage hitting each other unless somebody asks for it. Okay? Some of our instructors put on gear and you guys get to hit us. We kind of like it. Here we go. So hands are up by your cheeks. Think about touching your cheekbone. There you go. This is the proper position. And don't punch anybody in front of you now. All I want you guys to do is extend your arms out. And this would be in great correlation with the big movement for these guys, what they're doing. You just go ahead and get your hands moving. There you go. And if you're going to punch properly, you're going to hit 2 front knuckles. By the way, when I teach our students, even our rock steady people, to self-defense, we don't do that. We palm, open palm. But go ahead and continue to practice that punching. Now, just to get the heart rate up, and again, this is just be careful. If you're sitting down, standing up, watch your balance. Make sure you have good balance. I just want you to do 10 seconds of rapid movement. Get those hands moving really fast. So it'll look like this. Just Just quick hands as fast as you can go. Just make yourself look funny, but it doesn't really matter. Who cares? Nobody cares here. Just and release. And just think about that speed that it takes, that concentration. Good. And just real quick, without elbowing anybody, bring your arm up for a hook. Hook, like you are going to elbow somebody. And a hook is like you're hooking somebody's arm, you're walking down the aisle. If anybody's going to be doing that anytime soon, all right, here. Go ahead, hook, 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 hook. There you go. Now I know this would be a little bit awkward. Again, there's no impact, there's nothing to hit. But again, it's a concentration level that we're trying to get to, a movement. So I want you guys to quickly get your hands going. What it looks like, everybody knows wrestling back in the day, the bushwhackers. Anyway, go ahead, keep going. Go, go, go. Punch, 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 punch. It feels funny, but you gotta get to move, and release, relax. Last one. If you're starting to get your heart rate going good, you can do this anywhere. You don't have to go to class. You can do it. You can practice. You can move. All right, here we go. Uppercuts, guys. Ready? Same thing. We're hitting 2 front knuckles. Ready? Here we go. And go as fast as you can. Go. Punch, 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 punch. Move, 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 move. And release. Now that you're out of breath, I'm asking you another question. Favorite food? Go. What is it? Go ahead, say it. I can hear all of you. You said salmon?
Yeah.
Curry, French toast.
Peaches.
I mean, it's usually steak, pizza, pasta. I've never really heard of any of that. French pears, all right. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.